Hey guys, how you doing? Today is a new day, and a new day brings something new to do to the car. Now today we have a job that I haven't really been putting off, it's just kind of slipped my mind a bit, but today we are going to be addressing a problem in my engine bay. Okay, so you guys may be wondering, what is it that I'm going to address? Is it the air conditioning? Is it the multicolored header tank? Is it the wiring? Is it just the overall kind of cleanup of the engine bay? No, it is actually the intercooler. Now the reason I'm doing the intercooler is obviously because the paint on it has come off. My prediction is that whoever painted this before, this may even be original paint, but if it's not, whoever did it before didn't prepare it right, and in the consequence of that, the paint's starting to come off. Now this is something that I've really wanted to do to this engine for a really long time, or not even engine, just engine bay, because obviously, you know, I've got the kind of, you know, blow off valve, you know, I've got the different coloured sort of hoses which will be changed out to black. I'm not a big fan of the blue. I like black, you know. I think black with then brighter colours, you know, here and there is going to look a lot better. But like I said, it's something that I've kind of really wanted to do. And at the same time, I might do the heat shield, because the heat shield is polished and it does look nice. But I think it'd be nice if the heat shield for the turbo and the intercooler were the same colour. Now, as for paint, you have to use a specific type of paint. So with anything to do with the engine bay of a car, if you're painting it and it's underneath the bonnet, you are going to need heat resistant paint or heat protective paint. I'm not quite sure what it is really called, but basically any paint that can resist a certain amount of heat. I would recommend getting a paint that can resist up to 200 degrees. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit. Up to 200 degrees and more. This is Simone's paint. This is rated up to 800 degrees Celsius, and if this engine bay gets at 800 degrees, then I've probably got a fire underneath my bonnet and I have bigger problems. But anyway, I've let the car sit for a while, because obviously I did have to go to get the paint. I'll let the car sit for a while, then we'll take off the intercooler, get it all scrubbed up and ready for paint. Okay, so in order to take off my intercooler, I'm going to need a 12mm socket, a flathead or Phillips screwdriver, and I am also going to need an Allen key for my blow-off valve. So we're going to take the blow-off valve off first. We're going to undo the clamp for the rubber hose that goes into the manifold. Then I'm going to take those two screws off. There is also, or bolts, sorry. There is also from the turbo into the inlet pipe for the manifold, for the intercooler. There is a clamp on there, so you will need the screwdriver for that. But yeah, so let's get it done. And just like that, your intercooler should be off, and now we can put it on the bench and prep it for paint. Okay, so now I got the intercooler off. This pipe is a bit charred, to say the least. I'm probably going to get a new one of these. This is a Pro Drive one, but at the same time, I'm not really too bothered. I mean, they're all pretty much the same. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to detach these, this pipe and these here, because we'll spray those separately, it'll be way easier. And then we'll get all this paint kind of stripped off and get it ready. Okay, so I have the pipe off, it's actually on the floor. It does have gaskets, which I would recommend getting new ones, because these ones are a bit crusty. But because I'm not too worried, I will maybe put a little bit of gasket sealer on there or something, which isn't recommended obviously, but I'll put a little bit of something on there and those gaskets as well. But that's done, so now I'm just going to figure out a way how to get all this paint off. I might just use some paint thinners or something. I mean, this paint is pretty, I mean, it's just flaking off. I don't think this paint is rated for this intercooler at all. But I'm going to get the paint off, and then whilst I do that, I'm also going to cover these holes with some masking tape, because I don't want anything to go in there. So yeah, let's get that done. Okay guys, so what I've done is I've put some thinners on the intercooler to try and get the paint off, because the paint it's sticking on and then some parts it's not, but I'll show you what I've done. So excusing the mess, what I've done is I've put some thinners on. It's green, because the last thing that was in there was green. Put some on and you can see it's kind of starting to work, but it's definitely going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to kind of let this sit a bit, maybe then reapply it and then try and strip all the paint off. Okay guys, so the thinners wasn't really working. This paint is kind of a bit too thick for it to go through. So I was kind of looking around my garage, you know, what else I could use, you know, if there's any more chemicals or a tool or anything. Then I remembered I had some wire wheels, kind of adapters like these. And I started using them, and it's taking it right off. Now, it is etching a little bit, but I think if I get some sandpaper then after and kind of go at it, I think I can get a good finish. Okay, this is how the intercooler is looking now. I've used the wire wheels on this bit and everything, just kind of get it nice and smooth. I don't know if you can see it, but it is kind of like etching a bit, but with some 600 and 1200 and whatnot, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get that back to smooth. I haven't done this bit, but you can see the comparison. I kind of like the silver look of just the original. So I don't know, I might keep it like that and just clean it up a bit, but I'm probably going to paint it because, you know, I have bought the paint and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all those markings out. Okay guys, so here we have the intercooler. Now what I've done is basically tape up all of the fins and any kind of entrances or exits, which includes the fronts and the backs. So I've done that. I've wiped down with solvent or like cleaning alcohol, rubbing alcohol or whatever. It's all done now. So the final thing to do is just to put the paint on. So let's see how it turns out. I mean, if it doesn't turn out amazing, I won't be too bummed out, but it's got to look better than what it did before. Okay, so I've put the first coat on and it's turned out quite good. I mean, you can still kind of see where the wire wheel kind of hit, but honestly, I'm not too mad about that. It's more the color that I'm interested in. This definitely looks good. I'm going to leave it for a minute and then I'm going to put the second coat on. Okay, you got to excuse the marks on my face, it's from the mask. That's the second coat on, and honestly, it's looking really good. It's kind of starting to fill in those little gaps. The only thing I will say is on the underside, there must have been some sort of like, not contaminant, but something on it that I didn't quite get off because it is sticking. It just looks a little bit different from the rest. But I'll show you that obviously once it's dry. But apart from that, it's looking pretty good. This is, you got to remember, this is also an old intercooler, like almost 24 years old next year. So it's 23. So it's not going to look perfect, and I could have spent hours and hours preparing this, but at the same time, it is just an intercooler. I just wanted to look nice and function well, and I think this is definitely what we've achieved. I'm going to let it sit for 5-10 minutes, you know, kind of let the paint really soak in. Then I'm going to hit it with a third and probably final coat, and then I'll let it dry and we'll see how it looks afterwards. Okay guys, so it is the next morning. It kind of got late last night and I didn't really want to paint all the way through the night. Plus this paint says it needs about 8 to 10 hours to like cure, and then obviously the heat cycle through the engine will make it, well, solid, I guess is the word I'd use. But I think the paint came out really, really well. So let me just show you. Okay guys, so this is how it turned out. I think it turned out great. Obviously my intercooler has some marks and stuff. Some of them are from me, some of them are from previous owners. And as you can see, there's like some corrosion on the intercooler at the bottom and stuff like that, which I can't help. These came out really nice. I only put one coat on these, but on the actual intercooler, I think I ended up actually putting 5 coats on it to really solidify it, because it was kind of light coats I was doing anyway. I think all these turned out amazing. So let's put them on the car. Alright guys, so that's the intercooler on and I think it looks absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on the car, check that there's no kind of air leaks or anything, and then we'll be good to go. Okay guys, so I had it running for about 10-15 minutes, just kind of get the engine warmed up. I can't feel any air leaks. This paint says that it takes like 1.5 hours of the engine at kind of like full temp for it to kind of cure. So that's what I'm going to go do. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It has been kind of fun painting the intercooler. A little bit of a pain because it's a bit of an intricate piece to paint. But we did it, it looks great, I think it's great, and I can't wait to do the other parts of the engine. So, as always, this has been me, this has been my Subaru, and I'll see you in the next one.